Here we go. Take this out of the way. So for this stream, I'm gonna go listen to people. Which means I'm gonna turn my volume up. Hey Leo. So the goal here is to hit the blue dialog boxes on everybody.
Salute.
And then I think the other thing I did, let's see, I can turn off display of the chat, I think. Then on OBS, I'll turn off the cover. So I should let you read the I should let you read the subtitles, I believe. Do you want to talk to Sophie? Did you already play Sins of the Father first person perspective? Yes, yes I did. And I believe I got the achievement. I can check actually, right? It's where is that? Yep, hushed up. Sins of the Father without being seen. I wasn't trying for these, but apparently I got one accidentally. Let's see what Sophie has to say.
You know, only a few weeks ago, my only thought was to leave this place. You have to understand, there aren't many options for a young woman here. I'm barely 25. I wanted to do something else.
Funcom with the auto host blowing up my eardrums.
But I can't think such thoughts now. I just need a bit of cheering up in CERN here. Mr. Staghead, he's a god, do you know? He tries to help. He's very romantic, but the things he writes, you can't really put on the internet for others to read. They'll think you're a bit mad in the head. I know, it's a cliché, a Romanian girl looking for love on the internet. No, I'm not desperate, I'm very picky. I would just like to meet someone, somewhere, where I can go visit and maybe fall in love. I'm only 25, not in a rush. My mother was with baby when she was 16, so it's good to wait. But it's hard to keep spirits up now, with our world coming apart. Maybe soon there won't even be somewhere else, or someone else to fall in love with. Many people in the village say it's the end of the world. I try to tell them, no, don't say such terrible things. Keep your spirits up. But no one says this to me. Even CERN, he's often wrapped up in his morose thoughts. So it's up to me to keep everyone's spirits up. Is that fair? I need some cheering up too sometimes. We live so far away from everything here. It's like being in another world. I haven't been too far away, just a few times to the city, but I know how it is out there, different in every way. Here we don't blink an eye when a bird speaks to us, or when we see the fairies go on a hunt, or Fata Paduri change her skin, or when old Masul wanders across the road, or when he comes into the tavern with his horns and his cape. Okay, so maybe that would have made us blink a while ago. But now with everything happening out there, Mr. Staghead, CERN is as close as we get to normal. We'll never be able to go back to how things were now. The law has been broken, the ancient truths forgotten, and the gates opened up. Will you be able to forget? Will all of you be able to stay quiet? I think not. I think it will be written about. And also on television and radio. Maybe even in a cinema, there will be movies about it. Computer games. Unless the world ends, of course. Then our secret will remain so. For all time. CERN is a god. Not God. He's been very clear on that. He says, I did not make this world, don't blame it on me, I only live in it. He's a god, one of many. He's a god of the forest, which, if you're going to be a god of something, it's a pretty good thing to be a god of. I've known CERN since I was 4 years old. I ran away from home when my father was drinking. He was a good man, only not so much when he was drinking, and I walked all by myself into the deep forest. It was raining and quite cold, and it was getting dark. I found a dry spot under the roots of a big tree because I didn't know the way back and was too scared and tired to walk. When he came to me, I wasn't frightened. He spoke softly to me, took my hand, and led me back out. When we could see the lights of the village, he let go of my hand. After this, I would see him often. He would stand at the edge of the forest, and I would come to him, and we would talk. When this war began, he was forced to leave his forest. He came to me, said his people were being hunted down, and I said to him, CERN, the best thing you can do right now is come to us. Help us fight. He did this because he cares for me. He wants to protect me. But it's us who must protect them now. They're all lost without us, I think, the people of the forest.
Never figured out if she sees Mr. Staghead as a friend, a companion, or something more. It's a wonder we have no human mythological creature pairs in game. I'm not sure that we don't. I'd have to do some rethinking. You just hit rock launcher expertise 20, only 3 levels left. Nice. Where do you see that, by the way, Leo? Where do you see your rocket launcher expertise number?
Your secret world. is not so secret to us. We've lived with magic for as long as there's been a village here. We know monsters, vampires, shapeshifters, flesh eaters, ghouls, all these things. They're not just fairy tales to us. They are facts of life, like poisonous snakes and wild animals. When I was a child, I learned to respect and care for the forests and those who live in them, but also to fear the things that live in the dark places. Things that steal children, like Fata Pardui. Oh, she wasn't evil. It was never about that. There were safe places and unsafe ones, and if we walked into the unsafe places, it was only fair that we would be unsafe. Those were the laws we lived by. It's how there was balance and peace here for 500 years. We all respected the law. But now, it seems the law has been forgotten. And our world is secret no more.
Hey, one character down. Game log puts it out in a new level. Maybe we have a pair, but just forgot it. Yeah, I want to say it's unlikely that we don't, but I can't think off the top of my head. But I mean, there's a lot of lore to go through. Never mind like cinematics and game dialogue and stuff. I'd be really surprised if there isn't one somewhere. Although actually, the biggest one is Samael and Lilith. If you think about it. Alright, so she's done. Let's check out Mr. Forest God.
Greetings. The Lady Sophie called me Cern in jest, but I do not have a name. I am Kernunos and Faunus, and the Horned God and the Green Man. I am the Sorcerer, and I am neither of them. I am simply of the forest, and I am the forest.
Might need to be closer.
Without the forest and the people in it, of course, I am nothing. So I spend my days here, drowning my sorrows and my memories, while our lands are ravaged by abominations. Where will I go? What will I do if the forest vanishes? Will I vanish with it, or be left to wander the bleak lands in disguise for another 1,000 years, shamed by my failure to save my people? Then I will choose death, if I can die. And if not, I shall choose exile to another world beyond this one, where none may know my shame.
Aren't they both the same? No. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? They can't believe that Samael chose to mate with a talking ape. They're referring to Lilith. She's like a first age human, and he may have changed her since, but they would originally have been a human and angel pair.
The Lady Sophie came to my forest when she was a child, uninvited. She stepped into places protected by law, and she was in danger. But I came to her and I offered her my protection. Only after did I realize that she did not need it. She belonged there by law, in the forest. I do not think she believes it herself, though I try to tell her that she is different. She's not only human. She has other blood in her, stranger and older blood, of tribes that have left these earthly forests for other places, far away. Gods themselves of sorts. What you may call fairies, yes, but not the ones you meet today, the ones who are able to blend in with humans. They were taller and fairer, the ones who walked here ages ago. There are few left. Like all of us, eventually they move on. Sophie, she is half this, half that. But she will tell you her mother and father, they're both human. And perhaps, yes, this is so. But still she is what she is. More than one of you. Much, much more. An infection steals my forest away. Things that grow, but not naturally. A cancer on the land. One that moves and spreads ever further. It comes from below. Through water that once gave the forest life, now tainted and corrupt. It is a filth that doesn't wash off. And it infects all things that live. I fled before it because I feared it, and I fear it because I have never before seen it. Soon it might swallow my forest and these lands whole. The vampires, they serve it, but they will drown too. They are stupid and do not see farther than their next mouthful of blood. I have failed in protecting my land and my people. But will it matter? Soon the sun itself will go black and then nothing can save my land. Or yours. Should you ask me how long I have been here, I cannot answer. Perhaps for all time. Perhaps 1,000 years or 100. But no, longer than that, I think. Because I remember many things. I remember a battle long ago between the three. The owl, the eagle, the dragon, and the mother of demons and her servants. I played a part in that, I think, but not an important one. The forest didn't remain impartial. We took sides, as we sometimes do. To merely exist and observe is to be cowardly, I believe, and more dangerous than taking the wrong side. There's been peace for a long time now. I know that I am grown weak, or at least weakened. We have allowed our forest to fall into a slumber when we should have stayed awake and alert. Maybe things would have been different. Maybe we would have sensed her return. She is back. I feel her. The mother of demons, the queen of vampires. And she hates us all with a burning passion. She wants us all destroyed. For what reason? That I do not know. The unclean ones, the vampires, werewolves, ghouls, they are dangerous to us, yes, but them we can smell. The others, the human ones, they are harder to see. They have taken this opportunity to hunt us and butcher the children of the forest. They're human, yes, but they do not recognize any law, and they are untouched by any humanity. So how do we reason with them? How do we plead our case? We can only fight back. But few of us are able to or know how to. And every day there are less of us.
All right. First 2 are down.
Travel safely.
know.
Who the hell is that? And why do they not have a name, like a tag? That's weird, right?
Salute.
These people all have tags.
Goodbye.
This one doesn't. I can't select them. And this one doesn't, and I can't select them. That's really strange. Alright, so here is Petru, I believe. Does not have any blue dialog boxes, that's okay. Hey Eternal, wanna run story mode? I'm on my first person character right now, doing the dialogue. I could run it later maybe. Ooh, Dr. Varius. Should have some good ones.
I must not allow myself to become professionally detached from what is happening. I think that is the line between the scientist and the doctor, yes? The scientist would observe that these vampires sustain themselves with blood. He reasons that imperfections can be introduced to blood. Once initially transmitted, it could become endemic. And to introduce this disease, he could rationalize vaccinating the innocent. This is a scientific study. The morality is a side effect. You know, I considered this action myself. I could not undertake it. I hope it marks the space between my father and I. A man I believe cared only for scientific validation. And still I scrabble in the muck to find his work. The Red Hand's work. I must know. I must know how far he was prepared to go and for what. So I can understand how to never make that mistake. And at last bury his stinking memory. 2 new strains of rabies today. For that we can apparently thank the Varkolak. The werewolves, as you would call them. The wounds from the vampires are clean and shallow, but these are deep and fester. I have seen them before, last year in a village not far from here. They called it Varkolak. I recorded it as a wild animal attack. A good doctor to these people accepts the superstition, yes, but he diagnoses the facts. Once I saw a corpse unearthed and its ribs split with a pitchfork so it would not rise up and spread fever. There was no fever that year. I considered it a placebo. And now it has come to this. There is no place here for rational men. But I will not leave the injured. That is the fact. Yes, I have stopped taking case notes. It is simpler that way.
Ever to know the name of the other Red Hand scientists? Maybe in some of the dungeons? I don't remember. I would do an E5 with you, Leo, for the achievement. You have to hit me up on like Tuesdays and Thursdays our Cabal does our raids. Like our E10 raids. And then I forget which day, but I think there's an E5 that happens sometimes with some people that are friends. So could probably make something happen.
You people have very impressive recuperative powers, yes? Something about you that quickens all the body's little miracles. I could not call it unnatural. It seems to me that it is more an acceleration of nature. Of course I have a curiosity, how could I not? It is healthy to be fearful of what goes against scientific understanding, but for the moment, It is simply a relief. You are very hard to kill. Your injuries do not require constant attention, and you are on our side. So I'm asking no questions. You can be assured I take my doctor's oath very seriously. It seems that secrets carry well in my family.
And another one's done. So far, all I found was refuse the achievement. The achievement is not that difficult. You're talking about the one... talking about stay dead or not, right? Talking about this one? After allowing an abominated civilian or soldier to reach 10 stacks of blasphemous? Because here's the thing. On E10, that takes literally maybe an extra 10 seconds of actual time. Because you can't kill the Titan, because him being alive is what causes the people to res, right? That's why you always kill the Titans first. But the third bird takes forever to show up. So the tank that's tanking the Titan just kites it around. Someone like me with a cannon gadget cannons one ad into a corner, and everyone just smacks the shit out of it, and it keeps getting back up. When it hits 10 stacks, you go kill the Titan, and then make sure you kill that 10 stack guy, because they get tougher the more stacks they get. And literally, even on E10, and it did take me forever to convince, you know, people that this was a viable strategy. Even on E10, you take the third Titan, and you kite him, and you do that. The third bird takes forever to show up. By the time we kill the 10 stack guy, even on E10, and then kill the Titan and go kill the bird, we are about 10 seconds or so further in the fight time. Like, you don't have to hold DPS, right? Basically, as soon as you kill the Titan and the ads that are left, you just go kill the bird, whereas normally you have to wait for the bird to land, you have to count 3 downfalls and then kill it. Like, there's no waiting. You just go massacre it and then go. So as far as actual time spent in the fight, it's about an additional 10 seconds to go for the achievement. It's pretty easy, honestly. It's not that difficult. It's just, you know, you pick your moment. And I remember thinking about it and plotting it out in my head, and it was like, yeah, man, that third bird, we have all kinds of time. Everyone can, like, send agents. You do all kinds of shit while you're waiting for that third bird. And even after the third bird lands, you wait for the downfalls. So there's... It's totally not a problem. We need to hit this person. Let me hit this person, and I'm going to hit Carmen. Igor? Irogu? I don't know how to say that name.
You want to learn more about Yorgu? In Yugoslavia, there is a saying, tell the truth and run. If I tell you my truths, it will be you that runs. You do not ask why the knife cuts. That is what it does. That is how it was made. So do not ask me why I fight. In fact, Do not ask me anything more.
That is like the shortest dialogue in the game, I think, potentially. Yeah, the sounds are going to be a little loud. Hopefully I don't have to shoot anything. Because dialogue is so low in this game. For some reason. I'm not really sure why. The strangest creepy... Really? He's the creepiest? Of all the NPCs in the game, Leo, he's the creepiest? He's just like a soldier guy. Like, I would beg to differ. Even on this map, I'm not sure that he's the creepiest. Maybe on this map. Definitely there's someone in the next map that's creepier.
This is not ideal for me, you know, standing back and directing others. To be an observer for the Council of Venice can feel like a mother's punishment. If you call what we do a career, mine began young and with the Templars. They have long ties to old countries, not necessarily good ties. In some stories they are the defenders, in others the looters. Either way, where there is a Balaur, there will be a horseman who rides out to face it. Or in my example, a horsewoman. Blades against darkness, whatever the cost. Now I only have to look in the mirror to be reminded of the cost. It was the seal on my diplomatic fate. You can wear a scar with pride, but always questions. Questions. So in Venice, I sit and take afternoon coffee with all the ladies in oversized sunglasses. My thanks go out to high fashion. You do not need to hide your powers from the Harbareshti. These people know the secret world, not ours of rules and regulations, but the one they have lived in every day, where it is no different from day turning to night. They are Dampirs, unattached, raised by wolves or born under strange stars. Everyone. I think if you know they would be persecuted by the modern world. The rest simply have no care for it. Fairies that do not believe in humans. They have no reason to trust us, but we are lucky that now they have no choice. The council knew there was always danger the town would be discovered, exploited. It was on a list, a long list that gets shorter each year. Nothing was decided. Nothing was done. Let us try to live to regret that. Always some great tragedy that brings me back home. Never to celebrate the spring for a family wedding, to drink with old friends until the morning. I neglect that life now. Romania is a beautiful country, truly under the watch of saints. I suppose you knew it only for vampires, if you knew it at all. Don't feel bad. This visit will not change your opinion, I fear. I sensed it was different on my first night back. In the cities, the youth and the drugs and the vampires are mixing to bad effects. Too many disappearances, and they blame foreigners, mobsters, this morning light religion. Behind it all, the feeling that something slowly is breaking apart and might never be fixed again. It grew stronger the closer I came to Harbareshti. I know the council cannot act on my feelings, but this valley could be more important than anyone realizes.
Alright. Okay, so this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I guess church is next. Ooh, 2 blue dialogues here.
I have been Harbareshti's priest since last summer. For such a little village, such a modest chapel to a shepherd saint, it sheds them like a dog sheds fur. Most choose instead to be sent to monastery. I came because it is good for a man's views to be challenged. The people find a place for God in their lives, but he shares that space with stranger things, if they believe both. Does it make them half-truths? Half-truths. You did not ask for confession, but here is mine. In my home of Russia, there are still elements, bad elements within the church, carried over from the old state. KGB, and worse. They gave me little choice in my assignment. You will find that there are secrets here, too precious and too dangerous to speak of. I was to keep that silence. The remains of the Soviet operations should not be disturbed.
That's interesting. I honestly didn't remember that or realize that.
I have to smell the blood and smoke to remind myself this is not some childlike night terror. As adults, we have more practical bad dreams, don't you think? Without magic. Had you only arrived a few months earlier, you would have seen the true magic here, in the fields and the forests. I came to understand that it was not unnatural, no different from the morning dew. It is a part of these people's lives, and why they stay and fight. If magic is what the Soviet scientists wanted from this place, I doubt they would have found it in their laboratories, any more than I can demand miracles of God. I put my faith in people. Of course, you are familiar with this already. Now that great and strange events have seized the world. I saw it on the news. We do have television here in the village. 3 of them, in fact. Or 2, if you prefer not to watch Sophie's romantic comedy movies over and over. My friend, it seems we were both sent here to safeguard a secret. I hope you had more of a choice in the matter. I do penance for sins that I committed, and sins invented for one I cared about greatly. I think it could be said my mission here has been compromised. With or without me, the forbidden work of Bacchus County will be exposed. My thoughts are with the innocents, not the duty handed to me by my taskmasters. But there is little I can tell you about the Red Hand. The organization died out a long time ago, but many in Europe and beyond are still interested in its accomplishments. Tools of war. Tools of subjugation. Crimes more monstrous than any of the real monsters. That is what I have learned about the world in my time here. There is nothing more ungodly than the acts we make.
Over and over, right? It makes sense now why the laptop's buried behind the church. It's not just like random.
I tire of this conversation. While you and I are allied under Romanian colors, I will do you no harm. You have my soldier's oath. You think it's strange that I betray my own? Let me enlighten you how it is they who are the betrayers. Before I was Wampiri, I was a soldier. And before I was a soldier, I was a man. And that man was Transylvanian. When I lived, I fought for this land. And in battle, I gave my life for it. I have slept for 1,000 years in its good grave earth. I respect it. Not like the scum outside and their idiot war. They are nothing of my kind. They invade their own homeland, no better than the Mongols, Hungarians, Turks before them. Such disgrace. And to what purpose? They have been promised a Wampiri nation under their own rule. How does such a nation sustain itself without humans? Misguided fools. We need each other, your race and mine. Ironic that the tribes of the night would choose this place to wage war on humankind. Ironic or intentional? We are so fond of grand theatrics after all. You see, the great Dracula and his Order of the Dragon once sought to extinguish us here. The scars still remain on the trees in the old forest, the rocks of the mountains. So furious was the battle, and so long-lived the truce that followed. Wartime takes its toll on both the victor and the vanquished. Away from the cities, the people were not ready to renounce their superstition. And we, the superstitions, were not ready to be abandoned. An agreement was made. An agreement was honored. But now it is broken, and the eyes of the world will judge this valley. It is the end of refuge, the end of the trust between races. It may be the end of us, and if so, I accept it. Better to die than to live with dishonor. Wampiri, it is not a race, it is a disease. But for a time it was a rarefied disease, cultivated, such as the breeding of a fine Transylvanian orchid. We were nobility, coaches and mountain estates, fangs and opera capes, yes, if you will. Stoker knew. Although why he chose Dracula for his fanciful mythologizing. Well, that wronged knight's people turned on his name like wolves. It is the way of your humankind, and we, Wampiri, who believed ourselves elevated from humans, have proved ourselves so wrong. An eternity of luxury was no longer enough for us. The bloodline grows thinner, and more violent and reckless. The children turn on our name. As brutish and stupid as young men. As vain and temperamental as young girls. They draw attention upon us all, reignite old rivalries. The elders become insane with paranoia that they will be cannibalized in their sleep. What I speak of now was happening centuries ago. Since then, look outside. Behold the glory of the Wampiri.
The Wampiri.
Welcome. Welcome.
Okay, there's another person here, maybe? Yes. The vampire hunter.
This is pretty much nirvana for a vamp hunter like me. Plenty of game, most of it on the easy side. But there are exceptions. The grunts, they're like dogs. They bark, they bite, they hunt in packs, but they're dumb. They just do what they're told. The ones you need to watch out for are the ones in uniform. And the ones you really need to watch out for are the ones in white. They're clever bastards, and they know what you're thinking as soon as you look at them. They can read you like an open book, which is why I stay far away. Unlike you, I'm well aware of my limitations. There's no real trick to hunting vampires. You don't have to hit them in the heart with a wooden stake or cut their heads off. They don't have to be buried in sanctified soil. You just have to hurt them real bad. Eventually they stop moving. They invented the myths themselves. Made them sound harder to kill than they really are. Except the one about sunlight. That one's true. Stupid motherfuckers didn't realize all they'd have to do was dress better. What we have here is a war on two fronts. Most of the vamps out there are part of the crusade. They've come from across Eastern Europe, called in by the Queen Bee to join her crusade. They're weak of mind and body, starved for blood. Nothing but mongrels. One-on-one, not much of a fight. But there are older vamps here, and inside the mountain, but only for a look. It goes too deep for me. Too hardcore. I can fight those Crusader vamps, the Mongols, and that's as far as it goes. The older ones, the experiments, the Soviets, those who carry the sign of the Red Hand, I'll leave them to you. After all, it's your world that made them, not mine.
Did he say sunlight's the only true weakness of them? No, no, no. What he's saying is they made themselves sound harder to kill. He's like, you don't have to stake them in the heart or decapitate them. You can just hurt them really, really bad and they'll still die. He's saying the sunlight weakness is, you know, them dying to sunlight is legit. But like the other things, like, oh, you have to decapitate them or stake them, it's like, not really. You can just, you know, shoot them in the face a shit ton and they'll still die, I think is what he's trying to get at. I mean, staking them does do something, right? Because you do it in the game. It does something to them, but doesn't actually kill them. Which is like his point, right? That staking them is not going to kill them necessarily. Hey, how's it going, Favla? Did I say that right? We'll talk to Zaha.
Hello. My story? It should be like this. I am Romani. I hunt monsters. I wish that was all there was to say. I did not want to become like this. A witch. But you are an outsider. You cannot understand. Just as I cannot be like you. The bright tunnels beneath the earth, I have seen them. In the cities, the show-offs in their uniforms, I have seen them. Your people call themselves heroes, but for generations my people have died unknown in the mud, fighting the terrors of the night. For the longest time we were slaves in this country. Slaves, even if we kept the beasts from the doors of those who abused us. We do not ask for recognition. We answer only to ourselves, and that makes us strong. We know who we are. Or, well, I did know. Until magic changed me. I think you understand that story.
I think it's the vampire mission where you shoot them and drive them back and kill them with stakes. Feels like inconsistency. I don't know if it's inconsistencies. I mean, that's what the vampire hunter character believes. Whether that's true or not is a different story. But even the ones where you like get the three of them that go to like the, I don't know, the one like water wheel kind of area, and you stake them, they're still not dead. Not from staking them. But yeah, it could just be he thinks they're dead because, you know, they go away. Doesn't realize it just takes a long time to come back.
To come to this valley, it is like a holy pilgrimage for my clan, for the Draconists. Milosh, he says this place is our homeland, but he was born on the roads, just like all of us. He means that our order began here. The Order of Dracula, the dragon. And they call him Strigoi now, a vampire. They do not know anything about history, about the secrets we have sworn to protect. Dracula hated all creatures of the shadows. He fought them. He died to protect us all. It makes me sad that the valley where Dracula made his stand against them has become their secret refuge. Here, the creatures live as if no time has moved on. As if wild animals still walk city streets and people huddle around fires muttering prayers. The villagers accept it. They shrug their shoulders and say the night has teeth. The old forest is no place for men. Or women. You see what has happened? Monsters cannot exist alongside us. There will only be peace. Our duty will only be finished when they are all destroyed. And what is left for the Romani when the monsters are gone? I think I would like to have a bookstore then.
Leo, I just replayed that mission on this character pretty recently. Like the past week or something. I believe it's the vampire in the church. And he tells you that, like, basically it'll take them a long time to reconstitute themselves and it'll be agonizing. When he says a long time, he means, like, you know, I don't know, like 100 years or some crap. But essentially, the main guys that are super old, super powerful, like, it's different than the weakened ones, right? The weakened vampires that the vampire hunter is dealing with, he probably can just, like, machine gun in the face, and you know what I mean? Like, they probably will die. But the old blood ones that are more powerful, like, yeah, he says they'll reconstitute eventually. It'll just be agonizing and take forever. And maybe they'll learn a lesson. I believe he says it, like, in the... even in the cinematic when you take the mission?
We Romani are a traveling people. There is never resting, never staying in one place longer than we must. Life is just a stop between new roads. Sharpening stakes, comparing scars. Sundown is always coming somewhere. It has been, I think, 15 years without my parents. I measure time by the changing of trucks and cars and caravans. A sickness took my mama. And my papa? I do not know what took him. He left one morning to hunt and he never came back. My papa and my ma are remembered well in the clan, so I keep that memory alive. You see, I am both of them now. Memory is important to the Romani, to know who we are and why we fight, why we are proud. And every winter there are fewer of us. In a good winter, we make sure there are 2 times as few monsters.
Because that was Zaha. What else do we have? We have a person symbol here and here. And I think that should be everyone on this map. Hey Arlie, I have her as an agent on my main.
On était 2 nanas et un mec à partir en vacances. Et là, il n'y a plus que les filles, qui sont au mauvais endroit, au plus mauvais moment, et qui voudraient rentrer chez elles.
C'est mon frère qui a voulu venir ici. Je ne sais pas comment il a entendu parler de cet endroit, ni pourquoi il tenait à y aller. Mais en tout cas, on a suivi le mouvement, et il a disparu.
On n'a plus qu'à se battre, en espérant qu'on arrive à se tirer d'ici.
On connaît personne ici. Personne.
Pour être honnête, j'ai pas non plus franchement envie de faire connaissance. Ça servira à quoi?
T'as raison. C'est pas la peine de s'attacher à quelqu'un qui aura disparu dans pas longtemps. De toute façon, je vois bien comment ça va se finir pour nous. Comment ça va se finir pour tout le monde ici. Il est pas net, ce moulin.
C'est pas un moulin ordinaire, en tout cas. C'est clair.
Regarde un peu la taille qu'il fait. C'est dingue!
Et on dirait qu'il y a comme une sorte d'énergie magique ici. La nuit, des fois, on pourrait croire qu'il rayonne. C'est flippant.
Mais bon, si on n'arrive pas à se barrer d'ici, on va finir par y rester pour de bon. Et ça sera notre tombe.
Il voulait absolument venir ici. C'était bizarre. Et puis, comment il a pu payer pour tout le monde?
T'as pas assez sali sa mémoire comme ça? Il faut que tu l'accuses maintenant?
Mais je l'accuse pas. J'essaie juste de comprendre. Pourquoi ici et pas ailleurs?
Mon frère ne mijotait rien du tout. Il détestait les secrets. Il n'aurait pas joué avec ma confiance.
Tiens, en parlant de jeu, ça me rappelle que la nuit, il aimait bien jouer à touche pipi.
Mais tu veux la fermer? Les secrets, ça craint. Ça divise les gens, et ceux qui les gardent, faudrait les flinguer.
On peut pas faire sans. Il se passe tellement de choses dans le monde. Tous ces intérêts qui entrent en conflit, tous ces vies qui se télescopent. Parfois, il vaut mieux ne rien dire pour se protéger de...
De quoi? De la vérité? Et au nom de quoi tu décides pour les autres? Tu sais même pas te vernir les ongles. C'est moi qui te les fais.
Bon alors tu suggères quoi? Qu'on dise aux petites filles que le Père Noël est bidon? Qu'on crée la panique en parlant de ces monstres? Les gens sont pas prêts à tout entendre.
C'est toujours mieux que de leur mentir.
That was interesting. It's all in French. At least the subtitles were there. There wasn't like a ton of it, I suppose, but yeah, that was some interesting dialogue.
Stand out there and loiter. Come inside. Oh, I don't like to talk about myself much. I'm not so interesting, in all honesty. I'm old. I live in a tree. Sometimes I turn myself into an owl and hunt mice. I used to be someone. But that was a long, long time ago. And I don't care to remember. It was a different age. And the world has moved on. Now I live in a tree and make tea out of bark. Life's a funny old thing, isn't it? I can barely recall when I first landed on the branches of this tree so long ago. I was chasing someone from my past, from a different age. Someone who hurt my closest and dearest friend, my sister. I hunted her for so long, I almost forgot who I was. So I decided to stay. I decided I could do more good here than elsewhere. And I decided to stop hunting and start living. This has been a good place to live. At least, until now. I don't care much about your politics and intrigue. It matters very little in the scope of things. And there are more important things in life than power and prestige. I hope you'll learn that someday.
Yeah, her sister. I'd have to like Google. I think you could probably find some information. I know she's hunting Lilith, but I don't know who her sister is off the top of my head.
Your secret world is my regular world. It's always been like that here. No walls between the mystical and magical and that of the mundane. In all honesty, I don't know too much about your normal world anymore. I left it so long ago. And while I'm curious about it, I don't think I could ever go back. But from the look of things, if we continue down this path, that might not be an option anymore.
Okay, so that one's done. This is all lair stuff. There's no person down here. think we're good. I think we finished this map. If I'm not mistaken. So it's on to Shadowy Forest. And the dialogues in Shadowy Forest. Yay! Cheers! Ooh, an agent came back. 2 of them. Should be a guy right here. Mijas. With the Roman report on his forehead.
I am a good fighter, a strong fighter. But a fighter does not only seek the victory. He is always preparing, always searching for the one who will best him. That is where the truest experience is waiting, where he can breathe it in. Before the Draculesti took in me and my brothers, we fought their greatest warriors. Yes, it was a long night of cheering and bruises, red faces and raw knuckles. I kept those bruises like trophies. I beat down everyone, but they were slowed by the drink and the dancing. Not a fair fight. Morning came, and then into the afternoon. They promised us a rematch one day, if we would join with the Draculesti. That's what they promised. But there were always excuses, new monsters to hunt. Next season we fight Mijas. In the quiet season we fight Mijas. I shall be ready for it.
Reminding the Telegraph sent out agents.
Miloš tells us much about Vlad Dracula. A great man, a strong man, an honorable man, a ruler of men. I would very much like to have fought him. Instead, I fight at his side. He is with us at every step. Vlad Dracula gave no compromise, none to his enemies, to monsters. We must never forget what they are. That was his lesson to the Draculesti. The monsters had their time, of great cities like rats' nests, the stories say. An animal knows when its time is over. Men, too. They still fight for it. It is always a battle. But they see their fate. The strong will survive. The monster has nothing in those eyes. I have looked into them many times, right before my face. Seen the dull light go out beneath my knuckles. The monster never accepts fate. Vlad Dracula taught the Draculesti once to give no quarter, and we never will.
I wish we could get his hand wraps, his gloves. I feel like that's missing. We have like some black ones that are sort of similar. They look sort of like electrical tape versions, but I mean, I would like to have these as like a cosmetic item.
It is my choice to be out here, in the wild, and not in the camp. I meditate in the good dirt. I box with shadows in the smell of rain. I leap from branch to branch as I scale the tallest trees. My brothers and I, we made these woods our playground. But still, they are different. The dew clings to the trees, cold like it is the sweat of sickness. The mist leaves a taste in the mouth, a taste of metal. I know that taste well. It's a steel trap in this forest, closing around us, not all at once, but slowly. I do not fear it. To die in the resting place of Vlad Dracula, that is an honor. I will say to his knightly spirit that I followed him through the darkness gladly. And I will tell him of all the creatures I sent before me, down into the center of the world. Milosh is expecting you. Don't let your eyes wander when you speak with Emilia. Milosh will cut them out and serve them to you.
That was a quick little blip there. Okay, so we got that guy. Alright, let's go to our right here to the Demir farm, and then we'll hop over to Alina Floria.
Special assignment received. Initializing.
Stay away.
Okay, he does not have any blue dialogue, which is kind of sad. Sort of wish he did. Pretty sure Alina does though.
Leave me alone. All of my friends are dead. I don't mean they were killed. Maybe some of them were. It's a fucking ugly world. I mean, I never knew them when they were alive. I'm glad. All that stupid, unpredictable noise, all that sticky heat. Erased. Blue-gray skin, perfectly cold to touch. Beautiful. I should have stayed in medical school. The social workers got that right. White lights on bright steel, the scent of antiseptics. When I walked into the morgue, I felt I had come home. But I went outside. I fell in with the wrong crowd. The ones who said Alina was their kind of freak. That we could make all the world a mortuary. It takes just a little time, a little money, little favors. Don't trust the living. There's my advice.
Wow. See, she's already creepier than Igor, Leo. If you're still around. Like, that's creepy. Holy shit.
I know nothing about this place. We had been on the road away from Bucharest for months. City to city, town to town, until the drink and drugs ran out. Then drive again. Morning light church meetings. Staying in big houses, fancy hotels. I don't think we paid for any of them. And there were noises in the night sometimes. Screams. It was like falling through a dream. I saw wolves running in the streets, dead birds watching from the rafters. Adrian says we have to go far, out to the Carpathians. There is a hunting lodge in the mountains where we can stay. Old friends. We knew he was lying. A shark has no friends. But it was too late. So we came here. Then the snow came. Then Adrian's friends did. They were hungry.
This is not the normal existential self-doubt you get after an hour on Reddit. Not the self-doubt. I meant the whole, like, she doesn't like people unless they're dead and blue-gray skinned. She prefers, you know, cadavers to people to hang out with. And even though she might be at odds with the morning light right now, she's still down to turn the world into a mortuary because it'd be more comfortable for her. That's creepy. That's legit, like, creepy.
If it was like, I can't tell you because they'd kill me, I'd do it. I'm not afraid to die. I've fantasized about it since my 14th birthday. A million ways, and none of them like this. In Transylvania. I don't do vampires. Morning light are worse than vampires. They don't just suck you dry and let you go. That's too easy. They change you. Empty out your mind and body. Fill what's left of you with nightmares. Strip you down until you're just a thing. And it's still not over. There's no release. Only the changing. It's best when the eyes are gone. You can't look into a, what do you say, tentacle and see what's trapped behind it. I'm not ending up like that. No way. I won't have the oblivion I dreamed of, but I'll take death cheap and dirty over the morning light.
Yeah. That's pretty creepy shit. Way creepier than Igor, who just wants to hunt. That's not nearly as bad. So you got Anastasia, the Eiley, Mossel, and then the camp. I'm gonna check out the Eiley. I don't think she's got dialogue, so I'm pretty sure she doesn't talk. But I'm just gonna go look real quick. Yeah, she doesn't talk. So we'll go to Mossel, however you say his name.
Oh, grasses, my bread. I do not live in these hills. I am made of these hills. Much before the forest grew here, I was its soil. When all around was rock, I was the mountainside. After much time, man returned. I take the form of man for a wager. I was winner of this wager. Or perhaps the loser. My memory is leaving me. It dreams of escape, yes. It has been held for too long inside of my form. Much stories must be emptied out. One for every traveler that crosses my bridge. Then I sleep under the earth to the end of time. Man brought many names to the land, so I learned them. Dacia was to me the most pleasing sound. In Dacia, I am given stories and gold. The gold I exchange for more stories. There is much curiousness then. before the violence of Rome. For time, for much time, I leave the land.
Huh. Someone just gave me the lore from Abandoned.
I travel and see more violence in every direction. Man upon man, man upon the land. I find an understanding. The men are driven by old power beneath the earth. I understand it is not man I distrust. Man acts out a brief part of a long cycle. Yes. Romania, Transylvania. This is how the land is called when I return. New names and new stories. I tell you, there is power, much power, in stories and stones. There are powers greater still. All stories were born from the smallest pieces of these powers. They remain after a time of great violence. The stars upon the soil. It ends far beneath the earth, yes. Only nothing ends. I have heard its echo. I have seen its ripples echo all around a changing world. You race to tread in the footsteps left by man. You seek the knowledge that so little time ago man had already found. Only the telling of the stories changes. The stories are the same. All the same. All of it is the truth.
Alright, that was Mosul. So, did Eiley. Let's do Anastasia. See if there's one over there. Maybe. You like the phrase? Which phrase? Leo?
So Mara and Dracula were married before she was turned. What happened? Oh, you're such a hopeless romantic. There must be so much more than that. I'm sure it was a great love, but I can't believe she was turned for no reason. Someone must have used her to get to him.
Dexter on heroin.
Romeo and Juliet sound like a light-hearted comedy.
I'm glad you got that one.
And then you must tell me more about the Yella.
I think it's an accurate description, actually.
So you're telling me Alexander the Great left his 3 daughters here to rule the forests as singing warrior sisters. Who'd have guessed? The question isn't who I am, not anymore. It's who we are, the wagon and I. He is a vessel of the Vantose. He belongs to the forest spirits, and he walks, well, rolls, I suppose, around as a repository of knowledge of history and ancient languages. A 4-wheeled Wikipedia, edited by actual fairies. Everything the forest spirits ever knew is in there.
A 4-wheeled Wikipedia.
I was chosen to be his companion, to be his conduit to the world. We complement each other. Even though we've only been together a few years, it's hard to imagine my life without him. I don't know how I was chosen or why. All I know is that I was drifting until I found him. And then everything just made sense. He's my soulmate. It's a nice feeling.
Wonder if the wagon is similar to the pachinko machine? I see. I mean, I guess there'd be similarities. I think the difference is the wagon is a repository of pre-existing information, and the pachinko machine appears to be more of like a future-seeing machine, sort of. So, similar entities with almost like opposite purposes. One is back and one is forwards.
The forest is the secret world at its purest. Here the walls between the known and the unknown, between myth and the mundane, between science and magic, are thin enough to see through. There's been a truce in place here, between humans and the fairy for centuries. A symbiosis, an understanding of mutual respect. The Fae folk keep to the shadows of the forest, and in return their human neighbors have given them what they need the most. Faith. They believe in them, and they keep the myths and legends, the songs and stories, alive from generation to generation. And now, that balance, that truce, is in danger of crumbling completely. The only, person I talk to regularly is my wagon. Well, to call him mine would be a gross exaggeration. He's his own man. Life as his partner can be a bit lonely at times. After all, a single woman living alone in the woods, engaged in conversations with a wagon. Let's just say it's been a while since I had a date. But while it may get a bit lonely, it's never boring. You should hear some of his stories. With everything I've seen, he still manages to surprise me.
Alright, we got all those. So that one's done. There's none there. That one's done. That one's done. There's nothing over here. That one's done. Nothing there. I think we're just have to do the ones in the camp here. It's a nice move. And then we're good on this map. So the boy has dialogue. They has dialogue. Milos has dialogue. I think that's it.
Hiya.
It looks like yourselves, so it's actually the kid's dialogue, I think. It's under his name or whatever, but considering it says yourselves, I'm guessing it's both of them. I will be back in just a minute and start the dialogue. Like seriously, not even a minute. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. And I'm back. If you've never seen my Be Right Back screen before, it's chess in Secret World Legends with layer pieces. Or layer summons as pieces. Alright, let's see what we got here.
Hi, I'm Tibor.
And I'm Luminita.
We're Draculesti. That means we're vampire slayers.
And witches.
She wants to be a witch, like Zaha.
And he wants to be a fighter, like Mihas. But Milosh is training him to be king.
Shut up.
It's true. You're the boy prince, destined for greatness.
And you'll be a witch.
I'm fine with that.
I would play you layer chess, Leo. I don't know how good I would be, but I would definitely play it. I've been itching to get another game in. Because of the best NPCs in Cherry Forest. You can see that.
We are the Draculesti, but that's not all we are. We take care of each other. We are a family.
When my papa died, Milosh took care of my mama and me.
Milosh is like a father to all of us.
He's very strict.
But he means well. He keeps us safe.
I wish he'd keep us safe without using the cane.
Well, you do deserve it.
That's probably true. Everything is true.
Everything.
And dark days are coming.
They are.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
We're getting a little tired of hearing it, to be honest.
But we're prepared.
We can fight it. We can stop it.
It's what we do.
That's right. It's what we do.
Nice. Mind Phaser 6. Kids for Cthulhu. That's an interesting Cabal name.
I love my father, but he's also protective. Very, 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 very protective. Funnily enough, he'll let me go out and fight Strigoi vampires with just about anyone. But when it comes to social things, he won't let me out of his sight. I've lived in many places, and I've been lucky to have had a good education. But I still don't mind being back here, in the place Papa calls home, because we are doing important work at a crucial time. Although I do miss the shopping, and restaurants, and clubs, and indoor plumbing. I'm proud of my people and our heritage. We are Draculesti, the blood of Vlad Dracula, and we fight vampires. No, really. It may not look like it, but I know how to fight. I can wield a sword, fire a rifle. I can even hold up in fisticuffs with Mihas. Although he has to pull his punches. Or my father would gut him alive and hang him up as a warning to everyone. Yeah, protective. I have seen and experienced the world out there, but I will always choose to be with my own people first. To fight alongside the Draculesti, and to put my life at risk to help keep the world safe. I wouldn't mind being allowed to go to a bar once in a while, though. Or, you know, do a little bit of shopping.
Well, I've seen shapeshifters.
Would you believe that I have the blood of Vlad Dracula in my veins? Sam would use that as an excuse to call me evil. Last time I checked, I had no fangs. Bram Stoker did none of us any favors. The heck. To not only make Dracula into what he feared and hated most, but to romanticize vampires? Stoker is responsible for Twilight. Think about that for a second. I have led the Draculesti since I was 17 years old. It's the only life I know or care about. But this is my family, and these are the people I love. And I would not want to be or do anything else. You are probably wondering why we speak English here and not Romanian. We are from all over, not just Romania, not just Eastern Europe, but also the rest of Europe, the Middle East, Asia, the Americas. Our sworn duty takes us to places you would not believe. Last spring, we found ourselves in mountainous Nepal, where a clan of vampires had created a nest of caves reaching deep into the sacred peaks. But we always come back here, because this is home. And this is also where our journey began, and where the evil we fight first emerged. The Draculesti may be made up of 12 nationalities and 100 personalities, but we are one family, and we always stand together.
Interesting to note that they explain why they speak English. I'm kind of curious actually to ask someone with, say, like the German version of the client if they say they speak English in that one or not.
We have always lived in the shadows of the outside world. Inside, what do you call it? The secret world. Those secrets were long ago revealed to us. But that does not mean there are no mysteries left. Still, that does not concern us. The Draculesti do not deal with mystery. We deal with monsters. We will leave the mysteries to you and your people.
It's true. Magic is just trickery. Steel is real. That's what Mihal says.
And you know what Zaha says? The word is mightier than the sword. Word, sword. Get it? Steel, real. Word, sword. No?
No. That doesn't even make sense.
Boys.
Their dialogue is great. Okay, so I think we got everyone here. Alright, we got that one, we got that one. I think we're good. I think we're good to head to the next zone. Unless I'm forgetting someone. I don't think so. I think we're gonna go talk to people in Carpathian things. German may be my first language when I play English. I prefer playing stuff closer to the original language instead of risking to lose some undertones and jokes in the translation. Yeah, no, I totally get that, Leo. I totally get that. One of my friends that plays is, or that, you know, that used to play, he's not playing actively right now. He's first language German, but he plays the English client as well. But I know some people that play with German, and I think I know some people that play with the French client. I'm honestly just curious if that particular dialogue changes depending on your language translation or not. Right? Because a lot of people don't click through the blue dialogues, and even if they do, they don't click all the way through them. It's part of the reason I'm doing it as part of this like first person 100% playthrough, is to like really explore all the story as much as possible. And I'm also always streaming it. Like, I don't play this when I'm not streaming. So it's always recorded. So I could go back at some point and like review it and check it out without having to like actually like load up the game and replay it or something. Okay, so this person has no blue dialogue. That's good.
I know you are here.
Right, that's right, they're blind. Just hear me. This guy has dialogue, I believe.
Hello. I didn't get to where I am by talking about myself to the likes of you. Or anyone else, for that matter.
That was the shortest dialogue ever. Bravo. Oh man, that's awesome. It's like one thing and it's super short. Oh, I aggroed somebody. Okay, so she has dialogue. I gotta wait for those vampires to de-leash.
I met you from somewhere. No? Before it all started, this second life of mine, I don't mean the rehab or the parties after, the drugs, bad boys and rude girls. I mean morning light. Youth meetings and sermons, spreading the new message. Before then, I would dream of floating in warm water, in the Adriatic perhaps. My parents summered there when I was a little girl, buoyed by the waves, feeling safe and calm. Now I have dreams of a cold sea, nowhere I've ever been to, and I'm sinking, slowly sinking. I'm not afraid of drowning, but I know something's there beneath me, down in the salt and the dark. I'm not sure it's a good feeling. Does that not sound like a nightmare?
Sounds like the red sargassum sea to me.
The last time I was in these mountains, I can't even have been a teenager. Nothing seemed wrong with the world then. Maybe boredom. Of course, it wasn't really that way, but a child doesn't care. On clear nights in the Carpathian spring, you could look up and see right out to the edge of the galaxy. The bright lines of shooting stars. And my cousins would ask, "What do you think's looking back at us?" There are no clear skies anymore. No more wondering questions. Just the grey and the blood and the dread. Would you tell me something good can ever happen again? I don't even care if it's a lie.
Where's that music coming from?
Don't come back. Please.
So weird. It's coming from in here somewhere.
You shouldn't come back here.
Okay, that's that guy. Then we have that guy. That's the lair. Leo, did I show you? Did you see that slaughterhouse is bugged? Did you catch that one? The sounds are in the walls. Callisto probably has dialogue. That's probably it. I don't know that anyone else on this map has dialogue besides Callisto. Yeah, so Slaughterhouse. If you pick up the mission like a normal person who's trying to complete all of the missions in a zone, you pick it up, you read the report, right? And then you find the entrance. And then this is where it's wrong. Just for the record, what should happen when you click this is it should launch the activity finder, right? That's what should happen. Do you want to enter the Slaughterhouse 5-player Elite Dungeon? Okay, so A, there is no Elite version of Slaughterhouse in Legends. Doesn't exist. It's only in story mode. It's one of the 3 dungeons that are missing. Hellfallen, Facility, and Slaughterhouse don't exist in Elite mode. Right? So that's not true. Do you want to enter? Yes. Dungeons are intended for full 5-player groups. You're currently not in a full group. These are old TSW prompts, right here. They are not SWL things. I actually Nervell was watching me stream the other day, and he came on the stream late. He didn't see me when I picked up the mission initially, but he did mess with me. In fact, I highlighted a clip somewhere. If you look at my clips on my Twitch, he changed one of the bosses, one of the like mini bosses towards the end of Slaughterhouse to Elite. That's how I knew he was, figured out he was watching. So once I finished soloing Slaughterhouse story mode, I went back and picked up the Revisited and showed him what I was talking about, because that's not correct. And he agreed. He's like, yeah, that's not right. So it's just an interesting find on this first-person playthrough. And I think the reason is most people just, you know, you're taught by the game through the other zones that it doesn't really matter if you pick up the mission anyways. You're just gonna go Activity Finder story mode and do it. So yeah, you saw the Elite clip. Yeah, it was after that I told Nervell, hey, by the way, this shit's bugged, and I went and picked up the Revisited one to show him what I meant, so you could see it. I also just today highlighted my fight against Sergey here. Sergey is a 5-person world boss. He's supposed to require like a full group to take down. And I soloed him in this gear. Actually, it was slightly less. I think this was either 16 or 15. These talismans are about the same. I think my IP was 187? Yeah, it was 187. It was 2 IP lower when I did it. But I soloed this guy, and he's supposed to require like a full 5 people. And I mentioned it to Nervell, and he's like, wait, what? Mostly because I was trying to solo Boriskakov or something, like another 5-person one, but the Slaughterhouse General is one I couldn't do because there's nothing like there's he's on that bridge and there's nothing to hide like or kite around. There sort of is, but you can easily fall off the bridge, and he'll also easily decide that he can't get to you and just run away and reset his health. So he's really difficult to solo at the level I'm at. Like, it just wasn't working. But Sergey actually managed to, so I clipped that, and I was going to send it to him when I see him next. Because he mentioned that because he was watching when I tried to solo the general, and he said, yeah, you're trying to solo like a 5-person boss, on like a new character. I was like, I did one already. He was like, wait, what? Something might need to be adjusted. That's pretty funny. Okay, so we did all the dialogue, I believe, right? Oh no, wait, we're missing one. Sorry, I was about to like end shit, and I forgot. So we did this guy, and we did her. We did not do Callisto. Callisto definitely has dialogue. So we do Callisto, and I think we're done with dialogue. Which just works out pretty good, because I'm about done with my picture of Margarita. I would like for them to coincide nicely.
Salve. I did not expect an audience, else I would have dressed for the occasion. I presume from your eye-catching fashions that there is an occasion, Incantato. I am the shadow of Alessandro Farusi. A poet, he lived to entertain. Himself first, and then his audience. His appetite for life's delicacies could not be contained by the Venice of his birth. All the world was a feast, inviting. Knowing this, I understand what my killer saw in me, and I forgive her.
AKA Mr. I help in the final fight, stand outside watching you. Yes, exactly.
To go beyond death. To find the most fabulous excesses. It was wonderful, dizzying. Years passed as a carousel of delights. Delights to us. Horrors to mortals. I saw what I had become. Alessandro Farusi consumed life to celebrate it. I merely preyed upon it. That is why I sealed myself away from the world. I could not face my shame, nor could I bear myself to the sun, any more than you would willingly step into a furnace. This crack in the earth has been my atelier for 10,000 nights. I chose my own exile and burial. A melodramatic gesture, true. But melodrama was my trade. No. Occupying a grand castle or opulent manor is a show of entitlement. For my sanguine curse, these are the luxuries I deserve. Solitude. Darkness. The drip of water to count off lifetimes. Candle wax and guano. I convinced myself the valley outside had remained frozen. Not just in snow, in time itself. That there was no world beyond such wonders, muses and inspiration. Alessandro Farusi never lived to see that world. You know better than I what unknown journeys brought men and monsters here. Yes, I've heard the thunder of their new machines. And in reply, the rocks seem to echo and quake, as if they hold a less willing prisoner than I. If an artist's spirit is a tendency to embellish, then I still possess a fraction of a spirit. But believe me, when Vlad Dracula lifted a blade, no man could be his match. I say man, none could match him. With iron fire and faith, he purged Wallachia of monster, demon, and spirit. He ended the corruption of the boyars. He pushed back the Mussulman and traitors alike. Nothing that hated him could wound him. Still, he was undone all the same. Love. It was love that caused it all to end. The rose bushes that marked their arbor were uprooted. Bare beds suggesting fresh graves. Ask me to speak of his kindness, speak of his charity, speak of his love. And I can only tell you of his defeat, despair, betrayal. Betrayed by each other, and betrayed by me. Stood by, paralyzed with vampiric desire, and all too mortal fear.
All right. I believe that is the last dialogue in this zone. And the last dialogue for Transylvania. So, it's been a fun stream, but I think I will end it here. I mean, I'm probably still gonna play for a little bit. I might swap to my main character. If Eternal's still around and wants to do New York Story. But I think I'll end the stream here, just so I can finish off the first person, section, if you will. And then probably might stream off and on over the weekend, maybe, but I'll return to the first-person playthrough on Monday. So I'm gonna go with sail. Well, why am I zoomed out? I don't know how that happened. And we'll pick up the full circle mission on, Leo, you can join story? Cool, man. I'll pick up the full circle mission on Monday for this playthrough. But, yeah, I can't feel my face. It's a bit numb. Not that I need to feel my face for story mode. I could do story mode probably blind. Legitimately. Thanks for hanging out. Hope people enjoyed the storytelling aspect of the game. I personally like, you know, making a picture of Margarita and just listening to the dialogue. It's enjoyable, like Friday, like late night stream for me. But I'll catch you guys on the next stream, and I'll see if there's someone I can host before I stop the stream here. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm the only person doing Secret World again. That is just sad. I'm disappointed. Like, honestly disappointed. Rama! I'm gonna host somebody. I'll still be in Legends. We'll go do a story mode. Bunny love. We'll go do a story mode for sure. I'll hit you up. I'm just gonna end the stream though. Let's see.